Hello, it's Bill again. And during my exploration of gravity and dark energy, I noticed that there was some similarities between some of the concepts in Hinduism. I wanted to show this because I'm quite fascinated on how well these concepts between Hinduism and physics map onto each other. So without further ado, we will continue, but understand that this is just a minimalist explanation, and there could be many more emergent properties. This is just an idea, so people can see that there is a math connection to some of these concepts, and hopefully you'll find it interesting. So most spiritual seekers rely on devotion or stories to feel a connection to the universe. But the Hindu rishis of old observed the universe and aligned through attaining knowledge. Now I'm trying to offer that same observational path using mathematical and physical foundation. Found that there are 5 fundamental elements to the universe that seem to match really well with Hinduism. Brahma as the 5 data types of quantum logic energy. Atmans as host and guest particles. Indra's net as the cosmic horizon network, and that's a very fascinating connection there. Shiva as entropy manager, conserving information, entropy, and energy. That's also a very fascinating concept there that we'll cover. And Vishnu as the fundamental physical laws. And also we'll see that actually from this particular system that the universe has developed, there's a moral system that falls out. So in Hinduism, Brahma is often portrayed as the fundamental consciousness of the universe. And it truly is. It's the spin energy. So Brahma, as reality knowledge, closely resembles quantum logic energy, which expresses itself in 5 different ways. We have quantum spin, up, down, or superposition. Relative gravity, causing dark energy on cosmic horizons. It's a form of negative energy. Local gravity, which is a form of negative energy. Hawking photons emitted as receipts of gravity emission. And finally, entanglement. This is a very special energy only between the 2 entangled particles, which allows entangled particles to communicate with each other instantly regardless of distance. So quantum spin energy is the light of reality. Reality is the unfolding and changing of quantum states. Until a quantum state is changed and measured into existence, it's not reality, it's reality waiting to emerge. The changing of quantum states causes time to move. Brahma can be felt in the gravity that holds us to our planet. Gravity brings things together to locally entangle and is the most obvious form of Brahma. Photons can be thought of as meshes from Brahma, snapshots of a particle, or Atman. That's another name for a particle in our model that emitted them. Now, Brahma gives rise to all emergent properties, such as protons that give rise to atoms, which in turn give rise to molecules, biology, consciousness, and qualia. Now, most of this is actually relational spin answers that create what we interpret as reality, but it definitely is the primary energy source. And Brahma is eternal, a conserved form of energy that moves between cosmic and local regions. It's the fundamental energy behind the emergence of everything we know. Brahma is like the universe's proto-conscious. All knowledge arises from spin energy, relations of Brahma causing emergence. Basically, all knowledge are constrained degrees of quantum freedom. Atmans. In Hinduism, Atmans eventually became synonymous with soul, but the original intent appears to be something more particle-like in nature. Since humans are made of particles, the concept still applies. Atmans or particles are eternal and will continue through all cycles. In the explanation of Indra's net, Atmans can be seen as jewels, and each jewel reflects other jewels onto its cosmic horizon, and every jewel is both a host particle in their own observable universe and guest particle in all other causally connected universes. Host Atman is a host particle. A particle with 10 to the 122 degrees of freedom, including the Planck area tiles of its own cosmic horizon. Also 10 to the 80 bits for local particles within that universe, and also some number of Hawking photons. Atmans are eternal units of information that persist through cycles of the universe from Big Bang to Big Bang. A host particle has a cosmic horizon, which it uses to resolve spin uncertainty of local entangled particle pairs. Only particles that have a cosmic horizon can entangle and form gravity. And this is only matter particles. Host atmans have their own relative cosmic horizon, behaving like a giant inverted black hole with a 13.8 billion light year radius surrounding the atman. A guest particle is actually a host particle's reflection, using the host's own energy to encode a different host as a guest particle. Guest particles do not have cosmic horizons, but every guest is a host in their own observable universe, and every host is a guest in every other observable particle's universe. Guest particles contain one bit of information, and that is spin. Atmans can experience the universe only because they clock Brahma, spin energy. Only when spin is being expressed does reality emerge. Now we're going to discuss how atmans are encoded during a Big Bang, how a particle is going to be encoded. So we have an orange particle off to the left here, and during the Big Bang, all of its Hawking photons were encoded onto the horizon, expanding the horizon. And when the expanded horizon, right now blue is outside of orange's universe, but as it expands, now you can see that here is where orange's cosmic horizon shrinks one Planck area to encode blue particles spin right here. So this is blue particles spin, and now blue can fly around in orange's space. It's encoded. It can tangle with orange and produce gravity and communicate quantum spin. Now at the same time, blue's horizon did the same thing with orange at about the same time, and now you can see that we have orange has blue's information coded as a guest bit. Orange is 10 to the 122 bits, and we have 1 bit for blue. Here we have blue, 10 to the 122 bits, but it has orange encoded as a 1-bit data replica. Now they can move in each other's space. So now orange can move all over around here and interact with blue and share quantum information. So now we're going to talk about Indra's net, and this is pretty fascinating. Indra's net is a cosmic metaphor describing the deep interconnection of all things. Far away in the heavenly abode of the great god Indra, there is a wonderful net, and each eye of the net is a single brilliant jewel. Each jewel reflects every other jewel, and each reflected image contains the reflection of all others, infinity to infinity. Whatever affects one jewel affects them all. So this is a really good example of how the universe encodes host and guest particle information is such a good match. There's also another one I said, that God who, after spreading out one net after another in various ways, draws it together in that field. So the Big Bang spreads out in a big hurry, and then slowly over time the cosmic horizons are drawn in as gravity consumes the Planck area tiling of the cosmic horizon. The casting out and drawing in describes a cycle of cosmic expansion and contraction, birth and dissolution, entanglement and resolution. When Indra's net is cast out, it corresponds to the Big Bang, a vast expansion of causal horizons where each host atman begins encoding every other host as a guest spin particle. Over time, spin entanglement grows and the entire universe becomes woven together through shared quantum information. As entanglement completes, entropy must be conserved. The universe begins drawing the net back in, not by collapsing structure, but by resolving uncertainty and converting horizon-based energy into local signals, spin information. This draws down cosmic horizons until they shrink small enough for Hawking photons to condense into neutrino-like particles, the seeds of the next cycle. The Indra's net's not just a metaphor, it is a structure that provides our whole entire universe. Each Planck area joule reflects others through holographic spin encoding, enabling gravity to form from spin uncertainty, causal contact to emerge through entanglement measurement, entropy to preserve from cosmic scale down to local interaction. No information is lost. Instead, particles are re-encoded, resolving entangled states that were previously beyond causal contact. This is how the universe maintains coherence across scales. Once all particles have entangled with all others, the universe resets. Local gravity slowly shrinks the cosmic horizon. As it shrinks, Hawking radiation suddenly condenses into horizon area, providing the vast expansion of space for each Atman, ultimately giving rise to a new Big Bang. Estimated from the current cosmological models, Indra's net resets about every 10 to the 135 years, not by annihilation, but by the full resolution and reintegration of all spin information. The universe at the macro scale behaves as a universe-sized black hole, and a black hole of that size evaporates in about 10 to the 135 years. So this shows Indra's net pre-Big Bang. So this is right before the Big Bang that, we all see the universe the way it is now. And each one of these tiny cells is a cosmic horizon. So you see you have an orange cosmic horizon, a blue one. And these things are very small, 10 to the negative 18 meters. Gravity's been consumed. Everything is very small. Now remember, this acts like an inverted black hole, so these are all causally out of contact with each other, yet since there is no space in like hyperspace, they're all kind of glommed together like a bunch of grapes in a way. So each cosmic horizon is causally isolated from every other horizon. The entire size of the universe in this configuration is about 10 to the 6 light years, with 10 to the 122 observable universes. At this scale, the Hawking photons soon condense into neutrino-like spin particles, which expand the cosmic horizon by 10 to the 122 Planck areas. So what you see here is the Big Bang does not produce new matter. It re-encodes the old matter. Big Bangs increase space. It's a re-encoding event. So before the Big Bang, the universe existed in that dense frozen lattice. Each tiny cell is rapidly interacting and resolving spin. Each cosmic horizon was completely causal isolated, holding its own quantum information reservoir, unaware of other horizons through the embedded shared background. Now what happened is when all those Hawking photons were finally condensed enough to be read, everything expanded. Now the overlaps can be much greater because, it's supposed to be 13 billion light years and not an inch. So all these are much more causally connected to each other. But now we could see that we had the same circles here, but now these circles, they can all interact with each other. If to scale, all these would all have each other's information encoded on each other's cosmic horizons. So this is post-Big Bang, and then 13 billion years later or so, we are at where we are today. Now this is an interesting one. Shiva is often characterized as a destroyer, but this is an oversimplification. Shiva in this model is actually the process that drives the evolution of the universe. Shiva conserves energy, information, and entropy, which ensures the cosmos will be eternal. Shiva performs an act of creation for each act of destruction, and it may be more useful to consider that Shiva redistributes degrees of freedom to manage entropy. So instead of creation, destruction, it's actually just redistributing degrees of freedom. There's nothing created nor destroyed in the universe. It's redistributed. So here's how the model may connect to Shiva's 5 cosmic functions. Creation. Shiva causes cosmic horizons to encode newly encountered particles during the great encoding event that was the Big Bang. This encoding event created the fabric of space-time and allows particles to interact and communicate with each other. Preservation. Shiva uses cosmic horizons as entropy ledgers to track entropy and provide local gravity, so we have structure. Destruction. Shiva uses dark energy to pull apart the universe to add energy to Indra's net in order to resolve spin uncertainty of Atman's entangled spin uncertainty. Concealment. Shiva uses cosmic horizons, which functions like relative inverted universe-sized black holes, whose existence can only be inferred from CMB photon redshift and how special relativity behaves. As well, any redshifted photon from a distant star is the same function. That's going to be a process driven by the cosmic horizon. And grace. Shiva manages every event to be sure that entropy is expertly managed to keep the universe running as a perpetual motion machine. The universe will keep unfolding across all time because of the proficiency and the dependability of Shiva. So here we have two cases of Shiva's entropy management. Case one, first of all, we'll cover this. Entropy equals a change in entropy cosmic plus a change in entropy local equals 0. So here we have a case of one particle crosses a cosmic horizon. And what that means is locally you have -1 particle. However, the cosmic horizon encodes that missing particle as extra Planck area. So entropy conserves. Case 2. Cosmic horizon uses one horizon gravity bit to resolve entangled matter pair spin uncertainty, erasing one Planck area on the cosmic horizon, offset by adding 1 unit of Hawking radiation locally, conserving the total energy of the universe. So even though the universe got smaller, this Hawking photon was emitted, and that conserves the total energy. Shiva, as entropy's steward, ensures the universe stays in perfect balance. What we perceive as destruction is in fact precise rebalance of information, or precise rebalance. Information is never lost, only transferred. Each act of encoding or erasure on the cosmic horizon is a manifestation of Dharma, a path in Hinduism, a step toward total entanglement and ultimately rebirth. Here's case 3 for entropy. We covered this before in how the Big Bang encodes other particles. And you can see here that it required to consume 1 Planck area from orange's horizon. And this is orange's energy. And then it's been turned into spin information here. So we have +1 new particle and -1 cosmic. So once again, entropy conserves. When we talk about Vishnu, it's not so much a process, it's a framework. So Vishnu's domain includes conservation laws such as information, energy, and entropy. The speed of causality. No causal information can move faster than light. Entanglement spin resolution, what Einstein called spooky action at a distance, to ensure spin answers from entangled pair measurements always emerge with opposite signs. Defined structure constant, showing how charge emerges from spin and stable measurable ratios. General and special relativity, space-time curvature and time dilation arise from Vishnu's law book. Statistical distributions such as normal curves and natural variance, histogram shapes, these are Vishnu's fingerprints. Quantum fixtures and resolution, which are called wave functions, are temporarily fixed to constrain possible futures. Once measured, the fixture erases and the outcome becomes part of resolved reality. Vishnu is stability itself. So the moral implications from the model. I thought long and hard about this, and I came up with this. What is the purpose of life, the universe, and everything? We have shown that at a minimum, it's to entangle every particle with every other particle in the universe in order to resolve uncertainty. In other words, to gain knowledge. We have shown that it's a conserving function, which is equivalent to a purpose. This is not merely philosophical. This is mathematical and logical. The function of a heart is to pump blood. That function is also its purpose. The universe has a conserving function of eternally gaining knowledge by entangling every particle with every other particle. It has no more fundamental function, and that is the precise definition of purpose. The greater the level of entanglement with higher order emergent properties, like intelligence, the richer the data experience. Morals naturally fall out of this framework. Imagine the data richness in a collaborative, flat hierarchy network of cultivated diversity and depth whose purpose is to resolve uncertainty and spread knowledge instead of building towers. Imagine that instead of destructive status-seeking, greed-driven, celebrity caste system approach that rewards bad behavior and entrenches the meritless oligarchy. And this happens to almost any system, academic, political, or economic. The universe is showing us a better way when we need it most. This model reveals a path to align with the universe's own dharma, the entanglement of every particle with every other particle in order to resolve uncertainty and expand knowledge. When this understanding is felt viscerally, knowledge itself can become as spiritually immersive as devotion. And I can attest to this fact. I can think about how the cosmic horizon manages entropy. And when I think, I increase the thermal activity in my brain, which increases entanglement. And the entanglement is managed on the cosmic horizon, shrinking the horizon per event. So my thoughts, your thoughts, a fly's thoughts, actually change the structure of the universe. All events that happen, every thermodynamic state you assume, is managed entropy at the cosmic horizon. It shrinks the horizon, rising dark energy. So the past turns into an increase of dark energy. In order to get connection, we also have to have separation. Separation and connection are two sides of the same time coin. So this model is not meant to redefine Hinduism or replace its traditions or equations. Instead, it shows that at the deepest, most mathematical level of physical reality, the universe behaves in ways that align remarkably well with the core principles found in ancient Hindu thought, particularly the ideas of Brahma, Atman, Shiva, Vishnu, and Indra's net. For those who already find meaning in Sanatana Dharma, this can offer a physical basis of understanding. Once the connections between physics and Hinduism became clear, the responsibility to return this information to the people who first came up with these concepts became equally clear. I was not a Hindu myself. I arrived at this from a completely different direction, but when I found that the fundamental structure of the universe mirrored key Hindu concepts, I began to see what I think they were trying to say. This is simply one more way to see the same eternal truth. I have since studied Hinduism in greater depth and have found an incredible wealth of wisdom. I am still developing my Dharma as I understand it, and I deeply thank the followers of Hinduism and the non-dualist versions who guided me to resources for this great understanding. Thank you to the Swamis that guided me to the Gitas and the Upanishads. This has been an amazing awakening for me, and I hope that you can get something from this as well and see that the universe has a purpose and there's a mathematical explanation for that and expression. And thank you for watching. If you want to see a deeper dive into these concepts, please watch the rest of my playlist. And remember, gravity is for the masses. Thank you.